I love sports. I play for the Red Sox, the Royals, and the Mets. My favorite sport is baseball. I really love the shortstop and the catcher positions because of all the action and cool equipment. When I was 8 years old, life threw a curve at me like no 8-year-old could dream of throwing. They're just focusing on getting the ball across the plate. I was born with hydrocephalus. I had grown out of the tubing they put in me as a baby. So I had surgery. My doctors referred to it as an oil change. It was fairly routine. But I got an infection in my brain, and everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And just like that, I joined the largest minority group in this country. It's one you can join at any time. More than 375,000 other Americans become disabled every year, according to the CDC Health and Disability Statistics. I am part of the largest minority group in our country. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 1 in 4 adults and 15% of kids in the U.S. have a disability. As you can tell, I love my statistics. Here are some of mine. I suffered 6 strokes, spent 48 days in a coma, 2 helicopter rides, which I was out for, thank God. 60 surgeries, 6 years of therapy, 4 hospitals, 15 doctors, and I had 84 casts on my legs. And I'm still in the game because I love this game of life too much to give it up. When I came out of my coma, I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, I couldn't stand up or hold a fork or brush my teeth without help. Lots of things many people do each day without even thinking about it. So I spent about a year in a rehabilitation clinic to relearn all those things and more. 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, I did physical, occupational, and speech therapy. I was totally exhausted at the end of every day. I relearned how to walk, talk, stand up, hold a fork, chew my food, become a lefty, brush my teeth. I said to myself, and write my name. And I said to myself, because I couldn't talk yet, get up and do it again. Now I'm 9 years old in baseball season. I finally came home 1 year later. I'm sorry guys, I'm jumping all around. But my therapy continued for 5 more years. Now I'm 9 years old and baseball season comes around. It's always been my favorite time of the year, but I was sidelined. I couldn't play on my old teams with my friends. My baseball glove sat in the garage in my bag. I couldn't even put it on. My mom avoided taking me to the ballpark. She hired Sarah to stay home with me to protect my heart. Joe was coming home with trophies and I wasn't. Being on the sidelines that year was harder than any surgery or therapy or doctor visit. Many adults with disabilities are sitting on the bench, waiting, praying that they'll be given the chance to work. When I went back to school, I was in the 4th grade. The first day was the hardest. The kids had so many questions. They were kind but curious. What happened to you? Why do you walk like that? Can you talk? In elementary school, there's a lot of support for children with disabilities. Social groups, associate teachers, and mandated accommodations in schools for kids like me. By the time I got to high school, other families who had been down this path started to warn us that doors would slowly start to close. But I figured, look at everything I've overcome. Who or what could stop me now? I've got this. Note to self, I didn't have it. So when I graduated from high school in 2018, I was ready to get a job and get to work breaking more records. I participated in a 6-month job training program that seemed like it would lead to employment. And then, nothing. I've applied for more than 30 jobs along with 30 rejections with no callbacks, plus an in-person interview I'll never forget. They watched my walk, they looked at my arm, and that was it. I was back in the car in less than 3 minutes. I didn't even get the opportunity to answer one question. Maybe that employer thought there was nothing I could do for them. My hope is that employers will begin to ask, what can this person do for our company? How can we be inclusive of this type of diversity? Oh, I have plenty of losing seasons, believe me. Very discouraging, sad, and frustrating days. Why me, I'd ask. I had some amazing coaches during my recovery. Physical therapists, occupational therapists, doctors, teachers. But the greatest coach I had was my dad. He believed in me, he inspired me, and I lost him to cancer at age 7, just 10 months before I had my strokes. I really miss my dad. I was grieving his death and still am today. My dad always wanted me to bat left. Joke's on him, because now I do everything left. I remember telling my mom, I just want to run like every other kid. And I did. I learned how to run at age 14. As a young adult, I've told her, I just want to work like every other adult. And I am. Hey, what do you know? 2 years ago, a door to a job at an insurance company finally opened. We started with a 30-minute walkthrough, a simple assessment of what the job was, expectations, and what would be needed for me to be successful. The accommodations were simple. Voice-to-text technology, reviewing the accessibility tab on the computer, a headset with a microphone, a chair added where I sort the mail, and I was ready to go. I also work at a grocery store. By the way, I can't do all jobs. I'm just here to tell you that people with disabilities are incredibly resilient problem solvers. Due to our everyday challenges, we are always learning to adapt. Inclusion begins with understanding, getting to know someone who is different from you. The first door that must be opened is our minds. It's time to look past what you think you know about another person's potential and open your minds and workplaces to employ people with disabilities. Like anyone, we also want to be financially independent, have a sense of self-worth and pride for a job well done. A few years ago, I was applying for several different positions. When I checked the box as being a person with disability, I was never called for an interview, not one. When I did not check the box, I received multiple calls. So my mom and I decided to do a little experiment on people's bias towards disabilities. I filled out 2 separate applications for the same job. On one, we marked that I had a disability, and on the other, I did not. Well, guess what? I was called for the unchecked application. I guess they didn't bother looking at the name, where I live. We might have fudged a little, but I was excited to get the interview. When I walked in, I was instantly told, "Sorry, we don't have positions for people like you." Not one question was asked about my experience or ability or even a thank you for coming in. A door was shut before they knew anything about my skills and abilities. That checkbox on the application is a door in itself, one that doesn't even allow us to get inside to show what we have to offer. As an 8-year-old in rehabilitation and an adult applying for jobs, I asked myself, how am I gonna win? How am I gonna have the greatest comeback season of all time, like the Cubs will have this season? Just you watch. Hard work, a positive attitude, my sense of humor, and my sense of resilience. I often hear my physical therapist, Camille, say, "Bigger, faster, stronger." I don't know if that was in my head, but I think she said it. There are a few statistics I haven't told you yet. While I was in a coma after having 6 strokes, doctors told my mom to turn on the ventilator. I had a 0% chance of walking again. I had a 0% chance of talking again. Well, that was wrong. Oh. And I had a 0% chance of graduating from high school, yet only 20% of my brain was not affected by the strokes. My mom didn't give up on me, neither did my family. I still haven't, and neither should you. Did you know that 8 out of 10 adults with disabilities are unemployed? That includes my friends, Hannah, Sierra, and Eli. Don't give up on hiring or working with someone who has a disability before you've gotten to know them, because victory and success come in many different forms. Everyone wins when the largest minority group in our country is included in inclusion. Thank you.